This is Friday, November 15th. I, Mr. Lawrence, your teacher, I'm out for the day. Here are the notes that you need to do the next part of solving. We've been working on systems of equations, and now we're going to do our fourth way of solving systems of equations. We've done graphs, we've done tables, we even gone and done linear combination. Now we're going to do our fourth method, substitution. The notes that you see right in front of you, these are on a green sheet that you got 2 days ago on Wednesday. The sub has extra copies, so if you need one, please ask. On the top of the note sheet that you got on Wednesday, it said systems of equations, linear combination, elimination, and substitution method was on the bottom. So most of you already have these notes. Some people are going to need these. The sub will give you an extra one if you don't, but double check that you don't already have it. So here we go. These are the steps that you need to use to do substitution. First step. Isolate one variable, put parentheses around the right side of the equation where the variable you isolated is not. Substitute the expression in parentheses into the other equation. Solve that equation. Substitute the value from step 3 into the equation from step 1, the one with the parentheses, and solve for the remaining variable. Check your answer in both original equations. Again, this is something you've seen before, you've done before. What we're looking at here is just making sure it makes sense. These steps I will physically work through as we do these problems. The sub has copies of the worksheet. Please, they should have already given them to you. So let's check this out. Did you hear about the antelope who was getting dressed when he was trampled by a herd of buffalo? So I'm going to start with equation number 2. You can go back and do equation number 1 on your own. All right. Let's try to do that again. This is question number 2 that I'm going to do. So in problem number 2, I have x is equal to 5y minus 1, using red, and x plus 2y is equal to 13. The first step says to isolate one of the variables in one of the equations. Put parentheses around the right side, the other side. My first equation is x equals. X is already isolated. So this 5y minus 1 is equal to my value of x, whatever x is. Well, in these two equations, my x and my x are the same thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take what's in these parentheses and I'm going to plug it into this second x. So my second equation should now read 5y minus 1 plus 2y is equal to 13. There is nothing on the outside of this parentheses that needs to be multiplied in, so I can drop the parenthesis and say 5y minus 1 plus 2y is equal to 13. Make sure you are copying these notes as I am going through them. You will have to follow them to do the rest of these examples, the rest of these problems on this worksheet. I have one equation with one variable. My one and only variable now is y. So 5y, 2y. 5y plus 2y, this is 7y minus 1 is equal to 13. Add 1 to both sides of the equation. 7y is equal to 14. Divide both sides by 7. We get y is equal to 2. Again, just like what we've been doing with elimination, This is the y coordinate. I need to find the x coordinate. The nice thing about substitution is this is already solved for x. I just need to plug in my y. So I know that x is equal to 5 times 2 minus 1. 5 times 2 is 10 minus 1. X is going to be 9. That is my equation. That is my answer. My coordinate 9, 2 for these two problems. I could plug them back into the equations and solve to see if it makes sense, and they do. If you need to see it, here's the aside. So my original equation is 9 is equal to 5 times 2 minus 1. 9 is equal to 9. That checks out. My second equation is 9 plus 2 times 2 is equal to 13. 9 plus 4 is equal to 13. Both of these check out. This is my correct answer for the solution to my system, to both equations. That's number 2. So that one was solved for solved for x already. Well, what if the equation is not already solved for x? What if I have something like, let's look at problem number 8. Problem number 8. So here's two equations. Again, I want to use substitution. I could try elimination. I could do linear combination. But what I want to do instead is recognize that this y is all by itself. Since this y is all by itself, I'm going to say negative 4x plus y is equal to 4. I'm going to get rid of this negative 4x by adding 4x to both sides of my equation. Y is equal to 4x plus 4. This is what y is equal to. It's equal to 4x plus 4. I know that I want this y to be the same as this y. So I'm going to replace this y with 4x plus 4. So in my second equation, I have 2x plus 2. Again, I do want to use the entire parenthesis, 4x plus 4, for this y. And this is equal to 13. That's my substitution. That's the substitution part. What I want to do now is solve for x. I have one equation with one variable. Now it's repeated, but it is just one variable. The problem at this point is I have this 2 in front of the parentheses, so I'm going to distribute that 2 into the parentheses. So my problem now looks like 2x plus 2 times 4x is 8x plus 2 times 4 is 8 is equal to 13. Combine like terms. 2x plus 8x is 10x plus 8 is equal to 13. I want to continue and solve for x. So I need to get rid of the 8. I'm going to subtract 8 from both sides of the equation. We're going to get 10x is equal to 5. To get x by itself, we're going to divide by 10. X is equal to 5 over 10 reduces to 1/2. Fractions are nice. If you want 0.5, I like the fraction. Now, that's x. Again, that's 1/2 of my answer. I need to now find y. The nice thing about substitution is y is already solved for. So y is equal to 4 times my x, which is 1/2, plus 4. Well, y is equal to half of 4 is 2, plus 4 is equal to 6. Y is equal to 6. This is my solution. Again, if I need to, I could plug those in for x and y in both equations and check, but that is my solution to my problem. Let's do one more example. We've done number 2. We've done number 8. Let's go ahead and try number 9. Question number 9. Now in question number 9, I actually have a couple of options. My top equation, again, this is set up for linear combination or substitution. And if I wanted to do it by linear combination or elimination, I could solve it that way. But since we're learning substitution, we're going to do substitution. I could solve this for x and plug in for x. Or I could solve for y and plug in for y. Either way, I'm going to be able to find my answer. Do you have to solve for the variable I choose? No. But I'm going to choose to solve for y just because. X plus y is equal to 1. I'm going to subtract x from both sides. Y is equal to, slope-intercept form is negative x plus 1. Again, this is what y is equal to. Y is equal to negative x plus 1. In the second equation, I'm going to plug in for y what this y is, negative x plus 1. So my equation is 5x minus 4 times negative x plus 1 for my y is equal to negative 7. Again, I want to solve for x now in this equation. I'm going to take this negative 4 and distribute it into the x. So 5x negative 4 times a negative x is going to be plus 4x. Negative 4 times plus 1 is negative 4. This is equal to negative 7. Sorry about the monotone. I didn't realize I was talking that way. 5x plus 4x is 9x. Minus 4 is equal to negative 7. I'm going to add 4 to both sides. That'll give me 9x is equal to negative 3. Divide by 9 to both sides of my equation. X is equal to negative, if I reduce it, 1/3. Now that's two equations where I've come up with a lovely fraction, and you're saying, do I have to use fractions? If you look on your worksheet, the answers are in fractions, so you need to use the fractions. Again, your calculator is nice that it helps you with fractions. But wait, I'm not done. I do know that x is equal to negative 1/3. That's the first half of my answer. I need to plug it into x to find y. Y is equal to negative 1/3 plus 1. Negative 1/3 is 1/3 plus 1. Remember, now I could say this is 1 and 1/3, but that type of thing, that type of answer is not on my homework. So I need to remember that 1 is actually the fraction 3/3, because 3 divided by 3 is 1. So this is y is equal to 1/3 plus 3/3, which gives me 4/3. Again, your calculator will do this addition for you. there is my answer, my solution to the system. Hopefully you have a good day. You have 10 more problems. You have the remainder of the period. I'm just going to be a little over 15 minutes with this. Have a good weekend.